Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to another podcast. This week we are doing the same thing as last week because it seems like a lot more people like that. Um, I apologize if we use my recording because 30 FPS is the maximum we're going to get through Discord, uh, at least without us spending money that we don't have. So that's one thing. Other thing is, I am very happy because I got my audio working finally. Um, Windows is so strange with audio, and you're limited by USB audio if you just have a normal USB device. I don't want to get into it too much. Anyway, uh, so Nelson is going to be playing some games live. We do have a few things that I have for us to talk about. Um,
It's going to be real difficult for me, I would say, to probably. I'll, it'll be just like when we're talking on Xbox Live, and that's about it, I
yeah.
would say. So
So
Logan may do most of the yapping this time around.
we'll see. We'll
So it'll
see.
be a nice change of pace for most people who are listening.
um, he is not going to be able to select his best played games. So we're going to
Because they put
see
out an
how good
update,
of a performer Nelson actually is.
probably straight up trash. It's going to
um,
be trash splash gameplay you'll ever see. It'll
yeah,
be bad.
he's in the hot seat today. Um,
Well, the skill-based matchmaking hopefully won't screw me over as
yeah.
much this time around.
So the first thing, I guess, how has your week been so far? Been
Well,
busy?
yeah, work's been all right, I guess. It's been a low bar. I really would not rather, or I don't really want to talk about it, to be fair, because I was already being emotional a couple days before, and to put it shortly, there's this perception right now at my work that I am too slow at fixing equipment now, and it's kind of underwhelming because it's not the case at all. Like I've described to you from the previous episodes of what my current experience at work is like, it's just it's something that gets put into the onto the back burner when it comes to fixing equipment. If it's like my main priority, then I'm going to work a little bit more efficiently. Like today at least, I did actually get through a bunch of stuff. I got through like I want to say 3 or 4 pieces of equipment. Granted, not fixed, but I figured out what the problems were and I was able to call the customers and let them know, "Hey, this is the problem. Here's a quote. Do you want to go through with it or not?" And that's about it. So, but on Monday, there was just this perception that I took a day to fix a push mower, which just isn't the case at all because I was going back and forth up to the front of the store to
Mm-hmm.
help customers, of course, and to check pricing and answering phone calls and giving stuff, giving parts to people who need it. And I mean, that's the gist of it. It was a little bit frustrating, but I mean, everything at this for this day and age is.
Yeah.
Well, for work especially, I would say I'm going to turn down the game audio actually because it's going to hurt my ears. I need to focus on.
um, so, yep, work, more fixing stuff, no more trenchers, right? You finished that one.
No,
Not yet.
it still needs to be fixed. The trencher still needs to get worked on. And the reason why is because I'm just waiting on parts to come in, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Uh,
typical.
there's a guy that I've spoken to a while back in regards to it for this past weekend. I've been trying to get into contact with him because there's a specific part on that trencher that needs to come off, and I need to figure out how exactly to get it off. He's one of the technicians there, and he knows how to operate it and work it. But as of now, at least, it's just gonna be probably put on the back burner just for a little bit. It should get the parts should come in sometime next week at least, and I should be able to at least get it fixed and running again. But I have basically at this point used a blank check to get it to work and run again
Yeah.
and just work as intended. I've already sunk it in like over $2,000 into that thing.
Wow. Are
And I've
they?
asked my bosses. My bosses were like, "Whatever you need to fix it, just do it. Just take it. Whatever is necessary in order to get it fixed, just do it."
Wow.
Because they need that thing to run for the nursery.
How much are they worth? Do you know? How much do those
Those
trenchers cost?
trenchers, I don't know, like $5,000 to $10,000. My guess would be
Wow.
probably around there.
Wow, that's
But
crazy.
it would, from what I do know, is it wouldn't cost more to fix than to buy parts for it.
Hmm.
And plus, they would much rather have me do it. And I mean, I guess why not just have me do it? I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not doing well this game because I'm doing a knife challenge at the moment where the knife challenge, I'm trying to get a perk in the game. It's part of the new event.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, I digress. That's how my week's been going. I hope your week has been going good, Logan.
Yeah.
Anything happened for you late?
Say again.
Has anything happened for you as late?
Uh, I kind of decided that I need to cut back a little bit at work because I have never had a semester this busy, and I was starting to get behind on work a little bit from schoolwork. I was forgetting some things here and there, and I was kind of losing track of what needed to be finished, and yeah, I just didn't have the mental uh, capacity for everything that I needed to get done. So I told the older gentleman that I work with that I need to step back a little bit and maybe cut my hours in half, which is pretty big considering I only work 6 hours a week. So 3 hours a week basically. Um, it's gonna be difficult for sure, but I think that the extra 3 hours that I can put toward homework on days that I'm actually
Make a
supposed to
difference.
be spending on homework and on schoolwork is going to help a lot. Like Tuesdays, I'm supposed to have one asynchronous class. Like officially, it's supposed to be hybrid, but it's kind of asynchronous. But we're supposed to get the work done those days, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Um,
Yeah.
and I'm also supposed to have an online day of calculus on Tuesday. So it basically just means that I have tons of homework to do on Tuesdays. Um, and it's hard to get it all done if I'm working because I have to
I see.
split my day in half basically, and it doesn't end up working out very well. Even if I wake up early and try to get homework done before work and then try to get homework done after work, it just doesn't end up working very well. So I've
Yeah.
been trying to deal with that, and we'll see if this improves things a lot. I think it will, but it's been kind of stressful. I failed a quiz last week as well, which was not
Aw.
ideal, but
What quiz was it for?
it was for calculus. But it was I had zero time beforehand to look over the material. If I had spent like 15 minutes looking at my notes, I probably would have passed with flying colors. But
Yeah.
I just didn't have time. So it's been extremely tight between work and school this semester so far, and
Been rough.
yeah, the part that stinks is I'm only like 3 weeks in, and it
Yeah.
only gets more busy from the first few weeks. The first few weeks are not the most busy. That's just not how this college thing works. So I still have quite a bit to do, and I'm hoping
Yeah, but
I can keep
you'll
up with it.
you'll pull through.
Yeah, I think I will. It's just um, difficult thing to do, stepping away from work a little bit more. And the older gentleman that I work with, I could definitely tell he was uh, not super happy to hear that I needed to, but he understood. he's like, yeah, you need to prioritize school. But yeah, so today I ended up working this morning for 3 hours. I woke up at 7 and went to work at 8:45 and
Hmm.
worked until 11:45. Then I had my sister's birthday party, little sister's birthday party. Uh,
Yeah, I look, all I'm gonna say is in regards to that,
yeah,
I didn't know, and on top
yeah,
of that, I
we
had work that day.
right. We didn't get the notice out quickly enough to figure things out. So that's on us. But yeah, we missed you. So that's mostly been me. I've been trying to figure out the work and school balance here, and it's a lot. I mean, this semester there are like 43 modules to complete online for my calculus class, which means like 3 per week, which is completely not doable. It's like absolutely not possible, I don't think, to complete that many modules because each module is like uh, 2 to 5 assignments a pop. So if you're doing 10 assignments a week, that's just 2 modules. And that's uh, 2 assignments every school day. It's just not possible to do, especially if you're still trying to learn the material. So even 2 is a stretch. But the
Yeah,
class, I don't. The class I think is solid. I think it's a good structure. The problem is it's really time management focused. Um, like you can get by in the class doing 1 module a week, because you can get 75% from the online module portion and 75% from the in class portion. So really, you can get 150% for the class, which is absolutely insane. But ain't nobody gonna be able to do that. I don't think. I don't think it's possible.
probably
It's just too
probably
much
not.
work. So yeah, it time management. I'm learning. I've always been good at time management, but I'm learning more about sacrificing things here and there and putting more effort into other things. So we'll see how that pans out. I think it'll work out all right. But besides that, I think
Yeah.
we'll probably move on to the first thing that I have to talk about. Speaking of which,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if you ever had any. If you had any plans to talk about anything this week. I never
I'm
asked
gonna
you.
be honest with you. I don't have any. I really don't have
Yeah,
any
that's okay.
plans.
I've got like 5 things to talk about. So,
Oh, good. Great. We have content to work with.
um,
I
so I you don't necessarily have to look at this. It's just what I wanted to bring up. Um, I watched this Linus video. I think this was today. Yeah, 9 hours ago, and it was about 8K gaming, and they had a 5090, a water
I
cooled
saw this video.
5090. Yeah, and it was unimpressive to me.
Well, for price for the performance
Yes,
for the 5090, I mean, I'm not surprised that
right.
I mean, who cares about 8K gaming? Let's be
Yeah,
real.
to be fair, like
No,
8K gaming is ridiculous and shouldn't be focused on by anyone that. But I mean, okay, 8K gaming is extreme excess, and I think most people can agree on that.
yeah.
But the thing is, the 5090 is extreme excess, and I feel like extreme excess needs extreme excess, and they ought to be balanced, right? Like 4K at this
Mhm.
point is you can get 4K on an Xbox and a PS5. And, it might be 30 FPS, but
Get good
it's
image quality with
yeah,
it.
it still looks great. That's the thing. You're still playing in 4K, so and
I
it's
mean, I
smooth.
would much rather, I mean, I'm recording at 1080p, but right now I'm playing at 1440p.
Mhm.
But I mean, this is buttery smooth. This is good for me. I
Yeah,
mean, on your side of things, of course, and for the audio listeners and the people watching, it's probably going to be like 30 FPS.
yeah, yeah. I it'll look fine for the video, probably. I mean, I've been thinking about switching up to 1080p 60 because it's nice and smooth, especially if we're gonna be showing gameplay. But the file
Well, I
sizes,
will
man.
say, well, I will say, as of right now, it's kind of a struggle at the moment to try to get, the settings and everything going right
Yeah,
when recording and talking at the same time. But it's something that will come naturally over time.
yeah. Well, we just figured we'd try it.
Well, the thing is, what was great about this in particular was it had a theater mode, so I could just go back and I
Oh,
could
good.
just play play the play the videos back,
Yeah.
play the recent gameplays, the ones that aren't terrible, and I could actually do decent. But
Uh huh.
right now my brain is turned off and I'm not really giving too much care for how I perform, and I know I've been performing really bad right
Well,
now,
that's
and I've
okay.
been going
Casual
into my
game is good.
I know.
Um, but yeah, kind of going back to the Linus video, it's like they were getting screen tearing. They were getting like it was getting blocky. What do they call it?
Indiana Jones performed
Checkerboarding.
well on
Yeah, Indiana. So Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is a super well, optimized game, and it looks fantastic, and it runs on the id Tech engine, and um, I don't think it's really representative of like, especially UE5 games. Like those do not run very well typically.
No, 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 no. If I was running Stalker 2 right now, my computer would probably die.
Yeah. So there's a
And
difference between
they
Indiana
just put out a
Jones.
huge patch too.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, they did. It's 115 gigabytes.
Holy moly. That's
Well, here's the
insanity.
thing.
Like
I
basically
mean,
downloading the
hey,
whole game over again.
I will give GSC Game World props because they are actually, fighting in a war at the moment while also updating the game at the exact same time.
Uh-huh.
And they have put in more effort than Bethesda has in the last 10 years for making games. So I will give them credit.
Yeah.
I don't know why they get a lot of bad they're getting like really bad just unnecessary hate. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, yeah, granted, they developed the game over the course of 10 years
Yeah.
because originally it was going to run off of their previous Stalker engines and they decided to make the switch to Unreal 5. But I know I'm going down the rabbit hole. We're supposed to be talking about 8K gaming, but uh if you wanted to, there was another game that I would like to talk about as well. If you would like to in the meantime, it's
Sure.
Avowed specifically.
Avowed. Yeah.
Uh I'm I don't know if you've heard of it,
Yeah.
but made by Xbox Game Studios.
Right.
I'm hearing good things, and then I'm hearing just absolutely awful
Awful
things
things.
about the game.
Yeah.
But okay, say what you will about that one, uh, self-proclaimed woke artist, but you shouldn't let one person ruin the whole entire game.
Yeah.
You shouldn't. That, in my
I
opinion, you
agree with
shouldn't do
that. Yes.
that.
But
And
there have been like people have said it's a really well put together game. It's a really good game, but it runs like crap too. Like I've heard that out of a few sources. So I feel like I don't know. We're slowly moving away from games running like crap on day one because people have gotten up in arms so much about it. Um, but it's still happening. Like games are still coming out and they're still performing awful on day one.
Well, and this is Obsidian Entertainment. This is the exact same studio that made Fallout New Vegas, the
Yeah,
original Fallout games,
yeah.
as well as KOTOR 1 and KOTOR 2.
There's a lot of promise. Yeah,
Beloved franchise, such beloved franchises
yeah.
by,
So
and
I guess the question is, are you going to play the game and are you excited for it if you know,
I'm gonna wait until review. Well, here's the thing: IGN gave it a 7 out of 10, and that's
yeah,
all I need to know about it, meaning that the game is actually pretty good.
yeah,
or the game is actually not in a good state. From what I heard from early reviewers who are into the MMORPG style of open world games, they're saying that it lacks the type of charm that you get from playing Obsidian games to some extent. A lot of the NPCs in the world, they don't move around. They're static. They stay still for the most part. They don't
Mm,
interact with anything or the environment around them. And a lot of people are led to believe now that the game was actually indeed rushed. And I'm thinking, okay, well, that may be the case, but at the same time, even the developers admitted that their philosophy for that game was supposed to be a multiplayer style RPG,
mm-hmm.
and they decided to make the switch over to single player because the game itself, it just didn't match their studio, what the studio was known for when making games,
Yeah.
because they're known for making great single player experiences like the Outer Worlds, and eventually the Outer Worlds 2 is going to come out.
Right.
But
Well, I can see that. Like, there's been a lot of hype around multiplayer games since basically Fortnite came out, and a lot of companies saw that, and several are late to the bandwagon jump. But I could see the switch, like that. The switch makes sense from multiplayer to single player because we've seen a lot of companies in recent history that are single player companies, like what's the one that makes the Batman games? Rocksteady. They tried to make,
oh my gosh, they
yeah,
fell off so hard after that.
right. They
They
made
lost.
Suicide Squad kill the Justice League, and it was an absolute flop. And they're not specialists in multiplayer games. They're specialists in single player Batman games. So um, I think it's probably a good decision to switch to single player. But yeah, I can see, especially like in late development, that being a problem for the uh, the polish of the game, the fit and finish.
Well, the
So
thing is, with Avowed, from what I've heard, I've only seen tidbits of gameplay, and I can kind of see it like, yeah, it looks like a multiplayer game, but it just doesn't. It looks like it was meant to be a multiplayer game, and they had to, change gears real quick
yeah,
because they realized, like, developing further, going into further development, when they were developing it for a certain amount of time, they probably realized midway through, like, yeah, this is not. I'm sure they went through an identity crisis while making it.
yeah, probably. Maybe they saw what happened to Rocksteady and they they thought, "Uh oh, that's gonna happen to us."
Probably.
Yeah. Um, definitely something that we're seeing more and more. Um, yeah, I'm not sure about it. I think that uh, I mean, it doesn't interest me right off the bat. It's not that kind of game based on the trailer. I've I'm not
I
that
will say
interested.
the box art cover is beautiful.
Yeah,
I
it
love
looks
that.
really the
The-
yeah, the cover art looks really cool.
It's
Um,
cool. That's probably one of the best looking cover arts I've seen for a video game in a
yeah,
long
let me see if
time.
I can find it.
That's what that's what drew me to it too. It looked really good.
Yeah, I think it looks really cool. Let's see if I can find it. This one. Yeah,
I'm getting
that
hammered. I'm
looks
so
pretty
bad.
cool. Uh, it's like a skeleton dude, and it's got plants on it and armor, and yeah, that's really cool. Um, so yeah, I don't know that I'll play it. I'm not sure if if I see somebody that I watch regularly playing it, we'll see. I have seen,
Probably Asmongold. I wouldn't be surprised if
yeah, maybe
Asmongold
I would.
dives into it a
Yeah, I
little
do
bit.
think he's gonna play it. I think he said he would.
Well,
Um,
speaking of games that developers are dipping their toes into territory that they probably shouldn't because it, ruins their identity, is I would say Elden Ring Night Rain. I don't know if
I
you've
haven't
heard
heard
about
about that.
that, but it's supposed to be a spin-off game. It's supposed to be like it's a rogue-like Dark Souls type of video game, and it uses pretty much all the assets from Elden Ring.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it's a rogue-like battle royale style game, Does
Interesting.
that
That does
it's
not
just
sound like a game that Dark Souls would be involved in.
yes, and a lot of people are on the fence about it, and they're thinking, "Oh, this is just a cash grab because it has Elden Ring on it."
Yeah.
And while yeah, that is true, but I mean, I in terms of From Software's track record, I wasn't surprised that they would put something out like this because it's a spin-off game and it's not going to have that much of a budget. My
Yeah.
guess is the game is probably going to be worth like $20.
Yeah.
It'll probably be like either 20 or $40 and that's about it.
Mhm. I mean, if
I don't
it's
they were doing a couple of network tests on PlayStation from what I know, but even then I can't really say all that much about the game either, but it looked cool. You picked a certain class and character and you run around the map and you pick up weapons that improve your stats and it looked cool, but it just doesn't seem to me at least like the type of thing that From Software should really be trying out. I think they need to it feels too safe,
I mean, to me
if
it's
that makes
like it's like it's okay if they're just dipping their toes in the water. That's what it seems like to me. They're just like giving it a little test. Um if it was like PlayStation and Concord where it's like this multi-million
yeah, but
dollar game that's taken years
you
and
don't
years and years
understand.
to develop.
Concord was a masterpiece. It was an absolute masterpiece. Don't diss on Concord, Logan.
Oh
Don't you
my
ever diss
gosh.
on Concord.
You crazy.
That game is a masterpiece.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah.
That game died so Marvel Rivals could live on.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with it if it's just them dipping their toes in something new. I can see why they would. You know, Marvel Rivals is a testament to how popular multiplayer shooters are and stuff. So we'll see how that turns out. But I have a game that I kind of want to show you a trailer while you're not in a match, maybe.
Yeah, let me back out and let me tune in. Okay?
You might have seen
Sorry.
this already. I might have sent it to one of the group chats. But this is a trailer that came out for State of Play, and I think it's cool.
So let me explain
Oh,
the
Five Nights at
situation.
Freddy's Secret of the Mimic.
One of our
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
contractors,
you
Edwin Murray,
what
has
was it?
gone
Your
missing,
sister texted
leaving our
this to the group
property
chat, I believe.
abandoned
Did
in
she?
his warehouse.
I think she did.
Your
I
job is
think
simple. Enter the warehouse and retrieve
this
the
could be pretty
technology
cool.
that he was developing
Because I've heard
for
it's
us.
supposed to be
It's a kind of prototype endoskeleton
VR
that can
and
adapt
not
to any
VR.
costume and become any character. We suspect it may be malfunctioning, so just be aware of the slim but
What do you mean
non-zero
it's supposed to be
chance
like VR,
that you
but
could
not
sustain
VR? Is
I
it like
think
augmented?
I think they're going to have a
It's
VR
supposed to
version
look
and a
good.
non-VR
but not
version.
limited to death or dismemberment.
Well, that's
We
good.
fully expect
Yeah.
the retrieval process to
Well,
go
and I think
smoothly
that
and without incident. But just
the
in
studio that's
case,
making this
we
game is
suggest you
Steel
get your
Wool,
affairs in order before
and
arriving.
they're pretty good at making VR games. Like
Did
that's
they
their
make
specialty.
Security Breach or what?
Yeah, they made Security Breach. That was the first open world game that they ever made. So I think this is going to have kind of elements of both the open world sort of thing and the VR.
Your person. Thank you for being a valued member of the Fazbear team.
Yeah, I think
It's crazy to me that for this whole franchise started from a guy who was just trying to make money so that way he can have make money for his kids' college funds and
yeah,
that's about it.
yeah,
That's it. He just was just constantly making what was it? Just a bunch of indie games and they would all just flop and then he
yeah.
just made
Christian
one
indie
game.
games, and people were like, "Your
Yeah,
designs are creepy." So
and
he's like,
he
"Oh, maybe
just
I'll lean into it."
and it just took the world by storm.
Yeah, 100%.
It's crazy how he went from making the first FNAF video game to now we're getting movies and AAA titles out of it.
I know
Out of
it's
this
crazy.
out of this out of this
One
from
indie
the
game.
first video game. Yeah, all from one indie game
It's
all
crazy.
the way from over 10 years ago.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if he has like a dev studio or something that is creating like a Five Nights at Freddy's the collection, where it goes from like the classics from FNAF 1 to 4, or even I guess you could consider Sister Location a classic at this point,
Yeah.
where
Well, even
at least
Pizza
all the
Sim.
paid indie titles, even
Yeah.
Pizza Sim, like remaster them or
Mm-hmm.
something.
Yeah.
Like update the graphics, update the,
That could be
the
really cool.
small puzzle games that you get, the Easter egg games that you get in the background of
Yep.
it that showcase the lore.
Uh-huh.
It probably would be a good way of retconning some of the previous mistakes, because hasn't Scott Cathon come out and mentioned that, yeah, there is some stuff that doesn't make sense from those titles.
Yeah, as far
It
as I
has
know,
been
it's like
retconned.
only one thing that he's really retconned.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there are plenty of other little things that he would change if he had to do it again.
I think it would be really good if he did actually dip his toes a little bit into
Yeah. Well, what he's doing
for
right now is writing tons of books and doing movies that are in alternate universes so he can sort of
well, that
reshape
way
the world.
you can have parallels, so you
Yeah,
can look at the movies as for reference, and also the books, and you can
right.
put that in parallel with the main timeline, and you can infer that, oh, okay, now it makes a whole lot more sense.
Yeah.
Like, this is the story that he's trying to tell me, and I can put the pieces together and understand, like, oh, you get those eye-opening moments,
Yeah,
and it it really gets you to think on a deeper level about stuff,
right. Yeah.
especially with this franchise. This, in terms of the lore for Five Nights at Freddy's, it is like, I would say, one of the most complicated
Yes, 100%. I don't know that
franchises
there's
to
any other
understand.
franchise out there that's more complicated.
I
Um,
can't. Well, in terms of lore,
yeah.
I would say FNAF is, I would say, on a deeper level in terms of lore in
Yeah.
comparison to, let's say, for example, Halo.
Yeah.
Halo has a
Pretty
deep history
straightforward,
of,
right?
well, a pretty straightforward history of lore, I would say. It's deep and it's complicated,
Yeah.
but there is some mystery behind Halo, I would say. There's a lot of,
Enough mystery
I
that you
would,
can get into it, but not so much that
yeah,
it it's hard to keep track of everything like FNAF.
well, I would say it's not as open-ended as FNAF.
Yeah, that's
I may be
probably true.
completely wrong on that. I probably am, but
Well,
yeah,
I think this game is especially interesting to me, not because of the gameplay or anything, but it's it seems like it's going to have some pretty extreme lore implications. Like basically this whole
do you think it'll
trailer
relate to security breach or no?
uh what do you mean it relates to security breach? Like
Well, do you think we're gonna get references to security breach? That's what I'm saying.
I think that this game predates security breach by a lot. I think this game predates the first game in the timeline by a lot. I think this is supposed to be like the 1970s, and all the killing and the murders from FNAF happened in the 80s.
Yeah. Well, because
So
what was it? FNAF 1, if I'm not mistaken, that takes place in like what, the early 2000s or the late 90s? Wasn't that what
yeah,
it was, like 2003 or something?
yeah, but I believe that's
Fazbear
supposed to be
Fazbear
like
Frights is,
after the restaurant shut down, and you're just a night watchman. That's
that
kind
was
of the
after
yeah.
what, FNAF 2, where what
Yes.
was it? It happened to where Jeremy got killed or something like that.
Yeah,
I'm so,
it's so
that's
complicated.
another thing too. I say like, oh, the FNAF lore is so interesting, and the
Well,
second I
it
start
is
talking about it,
interesting, but
I don't remember all that much
I
about
know.
it. I don't, it's, I'm gonna have to watch Game Theory
I
again
know.
because I do enjoy listening to those videos,
Yeah, they're
and
fun. I mean,
for
so much of FNAF is speculation, and it's fun to speculate. That's the thing I'm kind of getting from this. But the point is, if you've been keeping up with any of the FNAF lore or any of the books, this whole game is a reference to the books. And I guess technically this game will have references to Security Breach because one of the characters that we see at the end of the Ruin DLC for Security Breach, is supposedly the focus of this game. So we'll see. But yeah, it's just coming out the 13th of June uh, of this year, which is pretty crazy. Only only 4 months away. That's pretty crazy.
Well,
Um,
hopefully it's not a buggy mess.
yeah,
Because people were
usually they're
speed
VR
running Security
experiences.
Breach in like less than 5 minutes when the
Yeah,
game first came out.
yeah. Security Breach was a disaster, but usually they're VR experiences. Like these people made FNAF VR and FNAF VR 2, and those games were pretty well polished by the time they came out. So I assume if and they also learned from Security Breach a lot. Like in the Ruin DLC, there was almost nothing that was broken. It was a really well put together DLC, and it was expansive as well. It was a big DLC, so whole different storyline. But
Yeah.
yeah, I have confidence that they'll put out a high quality game. But I'm definitely always a possibility, especially nowadays. Like we said earlier, new games come out as a mess a lot. I do think,
Well, speaking of VR,
yeah.
I mean, oh no, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead. I was basically done
No,
with that thought.
I was going into a completely different subject in relation to virtual reality,
Speaking
but
of VR,
I was looking at it. I was kind of interested to see how much the PSVR 2 headset would cost, and I
oh
am
yeah,
shocked. It is $600
yeah,
for like a bundle and
more than a
500 I
PS5.
Yeah, and I'm like thinking, what the heck, dude?
Yeah,
Like, sorry, I don't mean to raise my voice and everything, but
they went on
uh,
sale. I think before Christmas, and they sold like hotcakes because they were like half off or something. But yeah, their normal price is just awful, especially if you get a bundle.
well, here's the thing, because I was interested a little bit in. I was wondering exactly, okay, I wonder how immersive I can get,
Yeah,
or immersive I could make like a racing game truly be.
yeah,
So I went online and I looked. I'm like, okay, how much is a copy of Gran Turismo 7? How much is a PSVR 2 headset? I wanted to take it a step further as well. On on Walmart's listing, you can buy a G23 steering wheel
yeah.
with the paddles,
Mhm.
with the foot pedals, and you can also buy the stick shift with it,
Yep.
all for 300
We have
bucks.
one of those.
That's the best deal that you can get for 300 bucks from what I've heard.
Yeah.
And whereas the other listings for 300, it only gives you the steering wheel and the paddle and
Yeah.
the
I mean,
and the
300
foot
bucks is
pedals.
still crazy, right?
It is. But and then on top of that, it's like what? Almost $1,000 for if you wanted to get like the racing chair with it. I don't know if you've seen those online, but the racing chair that you can build to where it's like you're in a stock car or any other type of like racing vehicle,
Mhm.
it's like 300 bucks as well. It's so expensive,
Yeah.
and only to have like an immersive like virtual reality driving experience. And I'm thinking to myself, yep, nope, it's not worth it. I'm not gonna dive into that because that's just an expensive hobby.
Yeah.
And like most hobbies, they are expensive.
Right.
I'll
Yeah.
just save up for my Hyundai Elantra or
I know.
Sonata. I'm good.
You'll
That's
have
what
to
I'm doing.
drive my sister's Elantra someday. I think it's a decent car. Like especially, after a long day of work, uh, with my manual transmission, it's like I'm so tired right now. I really don't want to be shifting my own gears. And one time I was so tired and I had stolen my sister's car for the day, and I don't, typically like it that much because it has several features that I don't really care for over my plain and simple car. Um,
Well, I like the features on all the for most of the cars.
yeah,
That's a
I know.
nice luxury to have, especially on long road trips, I would say.
Yeah, on long road trips they are nice. Yeah. Um, but I got in her car and I just cruised on the way home, and it was nice to just sit back and relax and you know,
Not have to worry about constantly shifting.
yeah,
And
100%.
well, that was part of the reason why I kind of wanted to get like the VR headset
Yeah,
and all
you
the
can
and
have
the
fun
foot
and shift
pedals.
when you want to, and then when you're actually
You don't have
driving,
to
you don't
worry.
have to worry about it.
yeah, there's no real world consequences. Now I know
Yeah,
I don't know how accurate it is in terms of because I remember I used your
you have to come
steering
over to our
wheel.
house someday and play
The
because
thing
we
is,
do
like,
have a
you
steering
need,
wheel.
yeah, and you do have the foot pedals and the stick shift. I know
Yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah.
and I've used it before from you guys,
It's
and
not super realistic in terms of like clutch engagement points and stuff, but
y yeah,
overall
that
it's
was
fine.
another thing too. I feel like I need, what do you call it? Actual, like, mechanical feedback. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Like when
and
I'm
they do
pushing my
make
foot on the,
yeah. This is like getting into racing sim stuff, and I've seen a lot of videos on really expensive racing sim hardware. Um, so I'm gonna keep it kind of short because I don't know that much about it, but I do know that they make really high quality, really lifelike pedals and steering wheels and um, VR headsets that seriously enhance the immersion. Uh,
yeah,
they're like absolute craziness to set up though, and I can't imagine doing it. Of course, you can't do that with something like a console. I don't think. I think you have to stick to PC if you're going to get into the real crazy racing sim stuff. But it is, it's one of those things where you go play a game, a racing game, and it's just nice to not worry about crashing a real car. um,
yeah.
so yeah, I 100% agree with you. It's
It's
something
an
that's cool. That
expensive hobby.
yeah, it's an expensive hobby. It's painful, as most things are nowadays.
I know all hobbies at this rate are expensive. It
Yeah.
can't have nice things anymore, nice cheap things. You
Mm-hmm.
can't buy a $3,000 Miata that has that has around 50K miles on it and fix it up or anything like that.
Yeah,
You
not
can't. No,
anymore.
not possible. No, no, no. Used to be, what was it? About like 7 to 10 years ago, it was totally viable. Now it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. Well, the next thing I have to talk about is the How to Train Your Dragon live action movie. They released
Oh,
another trailer recently.
well,
That
that's new.
was the 12th.
I didn't know about this.
I'm just going to swap to that and show the viewers. I don't know. It's it's kind of loud. I'm not particularly excited for this movie. I don't know about you.
I don't think most How to Train Your Dragon fans are excited for that game or for that movie.
Yeah.
Not game. Sorry, my bad.
Well, it would be cool if it was a game, I think. Like if we had a How to Train Your Dragon game that looked like this, that'd be pretty cool. And I think it would be
I mean,
doable.
we've had a How to Train Your Dragon video game. We've had that
Well,
before.
sure,
We've
but it
had.
was like on the Wii U and it wasn't that good.
Yeah, that's true.
um, I like I have a problem with Hiccup and some of the characters. Like the best character that I see in this movie is his dad. Like it actually looks like Hiccup's dad. What is his name? Oh, what is his name? Oh, I don't remember his name. No, this is the SpongeBob moment. I can't remember his name. Um,
What's my name?
Poopy Chief something. What's his name, dude? I can't remember his name. It's him, that guy. Either way, he's the best looking. Astrid and Hiccup don't look right because I feel like they're supposed to be like
Younger.
8 years old. Yeah, 10 years old. They don't look right. Also, she's not blonde, which is dumb.
Yeah, I don't really care about the ethnicity. I don't care. It's not a deal breaker to me or anything. I
No,
really
not
do
a deal
not
breaker.
care. But if you want to, I, just make her blonde, for gosh sakes.
Yeah.
There was a girl. What was it? I saw some YouTube short a while back after the first trailer came out.
Yeah.
There was the short where this girl was like, "I look exactly like Astrid," and everybody was agreeing, like, "Yeah, why isn't she in the
I
movie?
know.
She looks identical to her, like 1-to-1."
Also, one of the twins is fat.
One of the twins is fat. Oh,
Yeah.
weren't
Look
both
at
of them
that.
supposed to be skinny?
Isn't
Oh
that the
gosh,
twin? Yeah, they're not twins, are they?
that is not no. Because if they were twins, it would have been uh, what's their name from Harry Potter?
Oh yeah, Fred and George.
Fred and George. Yes.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, those are some real
He's not
twins.
Fred. I am.
So, yeah, I'm not very excited for this movie.
Honestly, woman, you've lost your mind.
Okay, we're back. My audio cut out. That's fantastic. It's always,
And I had a heart
thought I had
attack
it
for a
fixed.
second
Yeah.
because I thought my audio decided to die on me midway through while we were talking.
Yeah, of course it was my fault. Of course,
No,
of
you're
course.
fine.
Always a
We
problem.
jinxed it.
Yeah, I know. I shouldn't have said think I fixed it at the beginning.
I fixed the audio, guys.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
to switch back to this. Um, so hopefully I can try to figure out why that happened. But for now, what were we talking about?
We were talking about How to Train Your Dragon and how Astrid should be blonde.
Yeah,
At least that's the last thing I remember.
that's the least they could do. Is
Just make her blonde.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do, man. Just to make
Yeah.
people happy.
I
Just
mean,
make
you
her
don't
blonde.
need to get a blonde person. You just put a
No.
blonde wig on the. But I don't know. I'm not excited for it because it looks bad and
Oh, you
it
know what
seems like
else
a
was
cash
bad?
grab. What?
You know what else was bad? Was the new Captain America movie.
Oh yeah.
It was
Uh,
bad from what I heard. It was not good. It just wasn't
your
good.
your dad watched it. He told us about it today, and he disliked like one thing about it that was kind of political, but he said that the rest of it was fine. So that's probably how I would react to it if I saw it.
It makes me worried about the Thunderbolts.
Yeah. I mean,
I want the Thunderbolts to be good. I
yeah,
actually do. I want to go see it.
yeah. I watched the Critical Drinkers review of the Captain America one,
Yeah, what do
and
you
he said it felt like super spliced together. Like it felt like it had been through iteration after iteration. So I think part of the problem was, it's like troubled development. It's not like the studio is bad overall. Um, so I think that there's a
That
chance
was
that
the
it
big
was just
part.
a fluke. We'll see if they can recover. I'm not sure. Um, yeah, the what was the one that you wanted to watch again?
The Thunderbolts. I
That's
wanted to
right.
go see that.
I don't know. The problem with recent Marvel has been agendas and poor writing, I think. And then, of course, the CG just doesn't look good anymore. Like, if you look back to the first Avengers, the CG looks fantastic. And then you
Well, even
look
the
toward,
first Iron Man CG looks fantastic on that
yeah.
too.
And then you look to some of the new stuff, and it's like, what the heck? What am I looking at? This looks terrible.
I'm sorry, but the some of the newest Marvel movies look like Spy Kids 3. They genuinely do.
Oh
I'm
my
not.
gosh.
Well, another thing too that a lot of people called out on on the new Captain America movie was that for the Harrison Ford scenes when he was turning into the Red Hulk,
Yeah.
they purposely did it off screen. Like they didn't showcase him
They didn't
fully
even
growing
try.
into the. Yeah, no, they were just trying to save on the budget real quick on that
uh,
portion. It was so bad for that.
yeah.
They weren't even trying to hide it.
Yeah. I don't know. a spliced together movie that's just kind of mid, that doesn't sound like a good time to me. It doesn't sound like it's worth my $20 or $30 or however much a movie costs to go to see nowadays.
Well, it makes me worried about the Thunderbolts. I hope the Thunderbolts
Yeah.
is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I really,
I
but
mean, if the reviews are good for that, I'm gonna go watch it. But that's a thing. I think that's kind of what we're getting out of this modern age of movies and video games. People are looking at reviews nowadays before they spend their hard-earned cash on it. Like if they don't hear that a movie is worth watching, they're not going to watch the movie. Um, Whereas like back in the day, you had reviews, but they weren't circulating around as freely and openly, and people, I don't know, I feel like after COVID, people really got sucked into YouTube and other forms of social media,
yeah.
where reviews are really prevalent, and they're like independent reviews as well. So um, people know that they're going to be, you know, not paid off by some of these production companies. But yeah, I think people are looking at reviews now, like especially since money's so tight for a lot of people. Um, like right now, I told my mom I am in lockdown mode, no spending mode right now because I have no money. I'm broke. I can't afford nothing. So I think a
This
lot
is
of people are that
homeless
way.
gaming at this point for us.
Yeah, yeah. Um, a lot of people don't want to spend their money on frivolous stuff right now. We're still holding out for a stronger economy, so we'll see if that ever happens. Um,
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I was taken back by this commercial that I saw. It just like popped up in my YouTube feed. This is an Xbox 360 commercial. And I think this is so cool, and commercials should 100% be like this
Oh,
nowadays.
I got this in my recommendation a couple days
Did you
ago.
watch it?
Yeah, I did. Where you get a free
Buy a mini
Xbox
fridge for
360 if you buy
college,
a laptop.
get a free ice tray.
Yeah.
Or buy a PC for college, get a free Xbox 360.
They probably did this because they had an oversupply.
Yeah. Probably.
Buy a
many
Windows
views
7
does that have
PC,
right
get a
now?
free Xbox 360. All you really need for college.
All you
Unlock
really
the deal
need
at
for
This
windows.com/free
was 13
Xbox.
years ago, and it's now just taking off, I would say.
It's all you really need for college. An Xbox 360 and a Windows 7 PC.
Death, by the way.
Oh man. That has fantastic vibes. Uh I don't know. I feel
I think-
so nostalgic about that. Can like I don't
Well,
know.
I wonder if Microsoft will ever go, if the Xbox Game Studios team or the Xbox team or whatever division it is, the head division for Xbox in general,
Yeah.
I wonder if they ever will, make an attempt to go back to that era of gaming.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to think that they would. I just don't know if they're gonna commit to it
Yeah.
in terms of,
Well, the community was just different back then. Like
well, it
you put
was
together
say what
all
you
your
will,
friends and you play games together, and I don't
say
know.
what you will about the community back then. I don't know if you've seen some of the
Oh yeah.
videos with the Modern Warfare 2 lobbies and the
Yeah.
Halo Reach and the Halo 3 in-game
They were
voice chat.
absolutely
There was
toxic.
there was some heinous stuff being said. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. There was stuff that probably should have
But there
never
was
been
something
said on
great
there.
about that, right? Like
Well,
people
people
should
got
be
so
free to speak.
creative. They got so creative with their insults too. And
That one where the guy played the guitar in the background.
so yeah, you're gay. Bam, 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 bam. Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. They were like different times. I kind of, you know, you can turn off voice chat in games now.
Well, I do it because it's annoying and it's distracting for me.
Yeah. Um, but I don't know. Like, I've heard that Microsoft has approved from bottom to top the next Xbox console. So,
Yeah, I wonder if they're trying to recapture the Xbox 360 era by
yeah,
releasing it a year early or getting ahead of the PS3,
yeah,
or not ahead of the PS3, ahead of PlayStation again, like
right,
they did with PS3. That was
right.
their initial game plan all those years ago, but I don't know if that's still in the cards. It kind of sounds like they are doing that
Yeah, it'd be interesting to
because
see. Um,
because Call of Duty, what was it? Call of Duty 2 was a launch title for the Xbox 360 back in 2005, I think. I'm pretty sure it was
yeah, '05
2005.
is the correct year for the original Xbox
Yeah,
360.
and Call of Duty 2 got put on the Xbox 360 at launch
Yeah,
along with that. And that was one of the big like titles that came out along with now it's starting to make sense to me with Gears of War.
mm-hmm,
So I wonder with Gears of War E-Day if they're planning on doing the exact same thing.
yeah, I don't know.
You know what I honestly do think that they need to do, and I know this making it Xbox is of course trying to push this pathway towards accessibility, and I'm all for that,
Yeah,
but if you want to dominate the market, you need to have some type of exclusivity. Now, I do think to some extent a timed exclusivity would be an
timed
ideal thing. Like
exclusivity is a good idea to me. That
I,
seems
I think
fine.
it is. I think I'm totally fine with timed exclusivity. That like don't disclose. Oh, it's going to come out within the next couple of years.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do that. I would just say, oh, it's only available on Xbox. That's it.
yeah.
It's only available on the newest
Only on
Xbox, and
Xbox, at least for now.
for now. But
Yeah.
I mean, don't even disclose the fact that it's going to come out to PC. Don't even say anything like, oh, we plan on putting it on PC
Well,
later down the line.
I've heard tons and tons of rumors about Xbox and potentially just being a Windows PC with an Xbox OS overlaid on top of basically just Windows. And I could see that being big. Like if an Xbox becomes just an entry level PC, that's that could be massive for them. Because PC the console market is not expanding. We know
Well,
this.
it uses DirectX. That's another thing
Yeah,
too.
yeah, 100%. Um,
So how would they? Are you saying like it runs Windows, or it
it
would
runs
be like a dual
Windows and
boot?
then it runs Xbox OS over top of Windows with high levels of integration.
Okay, so it's kind of like the Steam Deck. Does that
Yeah,
make sense? It's
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of like
yeah,
the
yeah,
Steam
yeah.
Deck.
Exactly,
Okay,
exactly like Steam
well,
Deck.
you have a desktop mode, and the desktop mode is pretty much the desktop mode is Windows,
Right,
and then you have you can launch Steam OS.
right, exactly.
That's
Except it'll be
basically
Xbox
okay.
OS. Yeah.
That
So you can play
if
all
they're
of your
planning on
Xbox games on your entry level hardware Xbox, but you can also play Steam games on your Windows side. Uh, and if they did that, they would absolutely corner the market because I mean, they have Microsoft. Xbox has Microsoft behind them, and people keep forgetting that. And Microsoft is a massive company. It is many, many, many times
multi-billion
bigger than
dollar
Sony.
industry company.
Yeah.
They're a
Um,
software company. That's another
yeah,
thing
they're a
too.
software company. Yeah, 100%. So if there's anyone that could achieve something like that, it's Microsoft. And with all the success that we've seen with uh, Steam Deck and a potential like Steam Machine console, um, I think it would be, pretty fair to say that we're going to see something like that. Um, and like I started to say, the console market is not something that's expanding, and that's just because uh, there are a limited number of gamers and PCs are rising in popularity. The PC market is what's expanding right now. Like more people are getting PCs and getting into PC gaming, and if they could provide, and I think this is the biggest thing that sells consoles, value. If they could provide more value through the ability to play your Steam games or whatever on an Xbox console or Xbox-like console, um, or even just a skin on top of Windows, that would bring so many people to Xbox, their ecosystem, Game Pass, whatever, and to PC gaming. So basically,
Well,
like,
it would be great for Microsoft, especially in terms on the PC side of things
yes,
for Windows, because
right.
it would, you know,
It's
I
an
mean,
entry level thing too, right? Because,
look, Microsoft in terms of Windows, they dominate
yes,
Apple
uh-huh.
in terms of just for the because
Sheer number
it's
of
like
people that purchase the operating system.
it's like Android with the operating system. It's
Yeah,
just accessible, it's customizable, you can do
right.
whatever you want with it, but at your own risk. Whereas Apple, at least, they have, their own patent, their I can't even say the
Their
word.
closed
They,
ecosystem. Yeah,
yeah, they patent their own, software, and they don't just, they don't publish it or distribute it to other,
right.
manufacturers.
Yeah,
So they're a first party.
no distribution.
Yeah. And
That's
I
big.
understand the benefits of that too,
Right.
but
I
in
mean,
terms of this, I think
yeah,
what if this turns out to be true, where they plan on having some type of console or handheld console, because I did hear about there were rumors about Xbox making a native, like, portable Xbox console.
yeah,
If they're going to do something similar to the Steam Deck, then I think that would be massive
yeah.
for them. I
Well,
think that
I
would
think
be
it's been
really good.
confirmed, the Xbox handheld. I think it has been confirmed. So we are going to see it that sometime in the near future. I believe they said it was a ways out, but
Like,
honestly, I can still
probably
see it coming
after
within the next few years.
probably after they release their next gen Xbox,
Oh
I
yeah,
would say.
yeah, I would assume that that would be the case. Um, but yeah, I like even for the PC side of things, this I don't think this would just help Xbox. I think it would help them sell more copies of Windows because if you're providing a $500-600 basically Windows PC, you're gonna have more people that see how to use Windows, more people that know the benefits of Windows, um, and you're going to have more people that want to upgrade from entry level hardware to higher end hardware. And that would mean upgrading to a regular PC. That means buying another copies of Windows. So I can see this being a win 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 for Microsoft if they go for that strategy. And honestly, I
Well,
think we've seen a lot of it already. Like they've been working pretty hard on their PC Xbox app. Like they
well,
have
I
not
think
just
another
shunned it.
thing, well, I think another thing too, especially with the Xbox platform, because Xbox uses a form of DirectX.
Mm-hmm.
The whole entire point of the original Xbox and why it was called Xbox was because of DirectX.
Yeah,
It was called the Direct Xbox.
yeah,
And the goal of it was supposed to make it easier for developers
yeah.
to create new games with the latest and greatest hardware
Right,
at their disposal. That was the whole point of it, and it was a massive success at the time. And the Xbox 360, it pretty much just took that
right,
and revitalized that,
right.
and
Well, and
it
that's
made it
another
a lot
thing.
more accessible.
Yeah. Um, Xbox provides development kits for their consoles to people.
It's why the PS3 failed
Yeah,
in terms of
exactly.
at launch. It's why
Yes, because it was difficult to develop for.
yeah, it was difficult to develop on, and a lot of devs were, you know, they preferred working on the Xbox 360. It was
Yeah,
just easier for them.
right.
I wonder if because of that, I wonder if it will actually be even easier
To
now
develop.
to develop, because to do actual proper PC ports and
Exactly.
console
That's
ports.
what I'm saying.
So
Yeah.
it
like
They
if they
need to have.
provided development kits for this Xbox PC hybrid, you would have more developers optimizing for PC hardware. And can you imagine what that would do for PC? Like, this whole thing is what a lot of PC gamers want. Especially, like, a lot of PC gamers want a PC that just works, and
Mhm.
but they want the fidelity that you get from having a PC. They want the high quality gaming that you get from having a PC. So I can see that being a big thing. Like, if they can get developer tools for a PC style Xbox console, uh, those developer tools are going to, I think, pretty quickly be available for almost every PC. Now, of course, PCs are difficult because they have such a wide variety of hardware, but if you're optimizing for lower end hardware, basically just an integrated graphics processor, you're going to have games that run way better on higher level hardware. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm excited for the next stage of Xbox, to say the least. I think it's going to go somewhere, and
Well,
I
I
think it's going to
think
be big.
you know, part of that also reminds me of the Nintendo Switch 2 in terms of the
Yeah.
pricing.
Hmm.
I saw a leaked rumor for what the price is going to be on it. $350.
Yeah, that's cheap.
That's what I heard. Well, the thing is, I that is in my eyes the too good to be true
Yeah,
type of price.
yeah.
I
I'm
think
expecting
it
400, 450.
That's what I was thinking. I'm
Yeah.
wondering if they're what Nintendo is trying to do at this point, because as you know, they're aware of their own company's identity. They're mostly family friendly, and it's to appeal to basically all audiences.
Hmm.
But um, so I'm wondering if if that price point turns out to be true. I'm wondering if, since they're basically selling it at a profit loss, because that's usually how it goes when a lot of companies make new consoles, they sell them at a profit loss, and it takes them about a year or two to make their money back because, as you know, it becomes cheaper over time to develop,
Hmm.
and then they can start turning a profit off of them. Now, for the Nintendo Switch 2, I do think that they're going to, of course, they're going to sell it at a profit loss, they will make their money back. They've seen the success of the original Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
I don't know if 350 is going to be it. I think 400 or 450.
Yeah.
That's what I honestly think. But
Yeah.
if they were to sell it at that cost,
That'd
a
sell like
lot of
hotcakes.
people, it would sell like hotcakes, and a
Yeah.
lot of families they probably would cater and actually buy that instead of a new
Yeah.
PS5 Pro or
Well, part of the
whatever.
reason the Nintendo Switch is still selling so well is because it's cheaper than the competition.
Well, that
And
and
that may
also
be
the first
because
party
it's
games.
older and less powerful than the competition, but it still means that it's cheaper than the competition. And like I've been saying, value sells consoles, and the Switch is one heck of a value. People, like, there's so many games on that thing, and it's portable, and yeah, it's a great value proposition. So that's why people buy it, um, especially over the competition. Uh, but I don't know that, like, for the Xbox, they say it's going to be the most powerful Xbox ever, and it's going to be the biggest
Well, they
leap
say that
between
they say
generations.
that they say that
Yeah,
every
they
single
say that
time
every
whenever.
time. But that leads me to think more and more that it's going to be PC like, and also that it's going to be more expensive, which depletes the value proposition a little bit. So I
I
don't
don't
know how
think
well that's going to sell. I don't know how much confidence they have in that strategy, but I do think that they have a lot of confidence that it's going to bring more people to the PC platform. That'll be like an entry level PC that you can use to actually play games and get good frame rates out of. Because like if you're spending $500 on a PC right now, you're not going to do much better than like Fortnite. Like even
You're
Fortnite, it's hard to
you're
run
better
nowadays.
you're better off getting an actual console.
Yes, 100%.
I would say I prefer playing now. At least I remember I used to move towards the PC platform because of the higher frame rates. The better, you get a higher refresh rate, higher
Yeah,
frame rate. You can have an increase in graphical fidelity, and
right.
I always like that. And less input latency, doesn't run at 30 FPS. But now, at least, since consoles are getting to the point on the same level as PCs, I find myself going back to consoles more
I know.
because it's just
It's
easier to deal
smooth,
with.
it's
And
easy,
you,
it turns on fast, it shuts off fast. It's yeah. That's the thing. Convenience is a big thing for a lot of people, especially those of us that don't have much time. Uh, like we're gaming in between jobs and gaming in between school. Like you don't have time to wait for your PC to turn on, wait for Steam to download an update. Um,
I know I'm getting kind of tired of playing Stalker 2 on PC right now.
yeah.
I love the high frame rate and that type of stuff, but dude, I'm getting kind of tired of having to like optimize my game to where it comes at
Mm-hmm.
like a playable frame rate
Well,
when I could just
that's the
run.
other thing. Like games nowadays have to optimize for your PC, and that takes forever. And you go to console, and it's already optimized. It doesn't have to do any pre-game optimization. It just starts right up.
Well, I will say Stalker 2 is not optimized on PC or Xbox. It is not. You cannot play Stalker 2 on Xbox at a solid 60 FPS.
Yeah.
You can't. It's not possible. They even after this many updates in, it's just not possible. The game is too good looking, and even then, they use FSR upscaling, I believe, as their method of having a lower resolution at the
Yeah.
like a lower internal resolution for a better output resolution. Like the game renders at like what was it, 840p or something like that to if you're playing at on a 1440p monitor at 60 FPS uncapped. So, okay, you have two choices. You could either play at 30 FPS, but the thing is the motion blur doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't, try to smoothen it out a little bit and make it seem a lot more immersive because here's the thing, I'm fine with open world games running at 30 FPS. I am totally fine with that. It is playable.
Yeah.
I already know for a fact Rockstar Games for, their next Grand Theft Auto entry, it's going to be 30. You and I both know it's going to be 30 FPS.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be shocked if it's at 60. I
Yeah.
would, but it's going to be 30. 100% 30 FPS.
Yeah.
And I mean, for Stalker 2, I would play. Here's the thing: I'd buy it on console if I could, but it's not even like the most basic settings like motion blur.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even working properly on Xbox.
Yep.
And I get it; they got bigger fish to fry in terms of like a the AI lifestyle of
Right.
for what they had for the NPCs and trying to make that a lot more performant and better than how it is at for launch. And I mean, they do have bigger fish to fry, and on top of that, they're fighting a war in Ukraine at the moment, and
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we do get a ceasefire and however many months or weeks or whatever days even
Oh
if
no.
we would
There we go.
fix this.
Yeah.
It was like 1,700 fixes for this newest patch, 115 gigs. I'm thinking, okay, can you guys compress the file or
Mm-hmm.
no? And I get it, like I said, they're fighting a war in Ukraine, so it just makes sense as to why they're on a crunch time because they're trying to get something out there and you know put out good quality of life updates.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Call of Duty keeps adding in AI bundles into the store.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't think for COD at least, I haven't seen anything AI as of late. I don't want to jinx it. I'm probably going to by saying that, but it seems like they kind of toned it down a little bit or haven't made it as obvious as it was beforehand back in December.
Right.
Because let me just tell you, it was blatantly obvious that some of
Yeah.
the
It
stuff was
was pretty
AI
quick.
generated.
A
We showed it on the
six-fingered.
podcast.
Yeah.
Six, seven-fingered
Yeah.
character holding gobble gums. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. And even then, I don't know why I'm playing this still. I have no idea. I guess it's because of, the content and the guns. It's COD. I will always love COD, but I don't know if, and I say this every single time, especially for Call of Duty. You know this more than anyone. Even my girlfriend
I'm
knows
not
this.
gonna play the next one.
I'm not gonna play the next one. The next one's gonna be even worse than this one.
Uh-huh.
And I end up buying it, I end up playing it, I end up hating it, I end up loving it,
Mm-hmm.
and the cycle repeats. It's just part of the Call of Duty cycle.
Yep.
And I think I need to figure out something else to commit to. I really do,
I heard of a
because
game called GTFO. Maybe you should try it. It's for people that like pain. There you go.
that like pain.
Yeah. It's been called the Dark Souls of shooters. So,
Interesting.
yeah, you might like
Well,
it.
I've seen the listings on Steam for it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, I was interested in Avowed, and it was made by Obsidian Entertainment, and
Right.
they're a well-known studio. They got a good reputation. Now, granted, their games may be clunky and the writing may be hilarious, but that's what gives their studio charm in their
Right,
within their
exactly.
games.
Yeah.
But when I come out and hear reviews like from IGN, which I don't trust IGN reviews, they are some of the worst
Yeah.
like video game journalists known to man.
Yeah.
They don't know anything about like what a good game is or anything.
Right.
They will easily slap a 7 out of 10 on any Call of Duty and call it a day, but they'll give like Veilguard and SpongeBob Truth or Square rehydrated, or not Truth or Square, Battle for Bikini Bottom like a 2 out of 10,
Yeah.
saying it's too kid friendly. And it's like, dude, what'd you expect, Dark Souls?
Ex- Yeah. I don't know. GTFO. That's what you should look up. That's what I'm getting from this. You might like it.
Well, there was another, forgot what other, there was another game too. Oh, Battlefield 6. I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah.
I'll have to wait and see on that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
2042 was not that good, I would say. It was not that well received in terms of delivering like meeting expectations for players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll
I
have to
don't know.
see.
This newest one may be a fluke as well.
Another
I'd be
2042.
another, yeah, probably. And
No.
then you're never getting Battlefront 3.
Yeah, that's terrible. It's terrible. Ugh. No, I'm never getting Battlefront 3 no matter what.
Nope.
It's so sad. Anyway, the last thing I have to talk about is politics. If we want to
I haven't
switch to
really
that.
kept up that I haven't really kept up in politics as of
Yeah,
late. I'm gonna be honest with you. I say that every single time
I
whenever I
know.
do the podcast. I
Yeah,
do it, and the reason why, Logan, I don't keep up with politics, especially, is because it's just always something negative.
it's always something negative. It's
It's
getting a
never,
little
well,
bit better, to be fair. Like,
I guess, I suppose, depending on how
yeah,
you interpret it, and
depending
it
on
could
who
go
you
one or two
watch.
ways. Yeah, depending on who you watch, I
Yeah.
guess.
Um, I'm kind of getting most of my news from Asmongold at this point.
Well,
Which is
people
not
are
the best,
tired.
but
Well, people are tired of the whole
yeah,
mainstream media networks, especially because
definitely.
it's the
It's the same
same
thing every
information.
day.
Yeah, for all those types of news channels, and they
Yeah.
are run by,
Regardless of which side they're on, it doesn't
they're run
matter.
by they're ran by monopolies too, by
Oh
the
yeah.
way. Most of them are run by
Well,
Disney, from what I know,
and we're finding out that like some of
and
them
Xfinity.
are sponsored by the government. Like the government has um, paid these news corporations to spread literal misinformation. Um, it's
Spread
just
disinformation.
it's crazy. It's ridiculous. Um, but the thing I wanted to talk about was RFK got uh, accepted, sworn in
For the
for
Department of Health.
yeah, he's going to be the Secretary of Health and Human Services. And here's just a little bit of that.
The office
on which I am about to enter.
on which I'm about to enter,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. Secretary.
Yeah, he gave
His
a little
family's
speech
there.
too, from what I know.
Yeah. I think it's pretty cool that this is even possible.
Bernie
I wanted to
Sanders,
give
what was
my-
it? Before he got accepted into, what was it? I'm sorry, Secretary of Health or whatever it was called,
Yeah.
that position.
Hmm.
Yeah, I saw a clip of where Bernie Sanders was like trying to just rip and tear right through him,
Yeah.
and he called him out that he was getting funding from Big Pharma or something like
Yeah.
that, and he got real mad about it.
Yeah.
But it is true. There are public records out there that Bernie Sanders did actually, you know, he did get, what was it, campaign
Oh yeah.
funds
Like a lot. It was
via,
like $1 million or something. Small loan of
yeah,
$1 million.
so I'm once again asking for your financial support.
Yeah. I the problem is like okay, Asmon Gold loves Bernie. He's a Bernie bro. I do not like Bernie. I think he's a big fat liar. And every time I watch him, I dislike him more. Um, I think it almost sometimes it seems like he's for the people, but sometimes it seems like he just has an agenda, and I don't think that those are compatible. So
Well, I guess the same argument can be
Yeah.
made about Trump too, to some extent, and all the other politicians out there. But
Yeah.
the thing is, especially with Donald Trump, coming from an outsider's perspective, I would say that Trump is someone that has never, you know, dove into the world of politics
yeah.
or dived into
Well, he's
whatever the
experienced with it
right
now. At
wording.
least experienced enough to
Yeah,
get a lot done in his first few days here.
yeah, he's 100%ing this presidency this
I
time
know.
around. He's doing 100% run.
Yeah. Oh man. But
The first one was just the alpha. Now we're in the release day
I know.
stages.
I was
Biden's
saying
era
I
was
think it's
beta.
pretty crazy that we can have a Democrat working directly with a Republican. Like RFK is not technically a Democrat anymore. I think he's still?
He's an old school Democrat.
Yeah.
He used to be, he's liberal. He's like a 1960s JFK
Yeah.
Democrat. That's what a lot of people make that comparison to.
Right.
And we haven't seen this type of leadership since like the 1960s and 70s, where
Yeah.
you have a elected president and the person that was, so you had JFK and Richard Nixon going head to head for the presidency in the 1960s. JFK wins.
That was so
and
civil, the debate between them.
Richard Nixon becomes the vice president.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't have that anymore. Not
Right.
anymore, at least. And
Yeah.
I don't know when this started to change. My guess was during the 70s and the 80s, I believe. I think.
Wait, was that?
I
I
think
don't know.
Nixon started the trend where you pick your own vice president,
I don't
presidential
know.
candidate.
I don't know.
But you and I both know that's what it used to be, at least. Like, you would
Way
have,
back, I think all I remember is way back when they had the
well, and the
loser
thing
become
is,
the VP. Yeah.
yeah, the loser becomes the vice president.
Yeah.
And now, at least in today's world, you don't get that as much. And I
Yeah.
do think with Trump's X-Men team that they
Mhm.
have going on,
Yeah.
I do think that it's a unique group of people who
Yeah.
come from various different backgrounds, especially spanning across the entirety of the United States
Yeah.
and the North American
Right.
continent.
There
Because
are a
Tulsi,
lot of different perspectives in Trump's presidency this time.
well, and the thing is, another thing too, Logan, is that the they they never left the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party left them.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
what they
argument that
say.
they
Yeah.
always make.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that was the same argument that Ronald Reagan made at the time,
Yeah.
and um, to me at least,
Thanking President Trump
it
for
it's it
giving me
becomes
this
eye
extraordinary
opening when you see
opportunity. And
people
I
that
want to introduce my family
from
and
your
thank them for
own
being here.
party who, say what you will, I guess had similar ideas or a similar mindset for how they would like to make progress within the world,
Mm-hmm.
just turn their backs against you. Like you won't know, like you truly won't know who your friends are until either they, like you'll know who your, how do I put this into
How
words,
does the
Nelson?
saying
Think.
go?
I forgot. Like you'll
I don't
find
know.
out who your friends really are, like whether or not they'll stick by your side or not, or they'll betray you and turn their backs against you. That's when you know who your friends really are, I
Yeah.
guess. But I forgot how the saying goes. And the thing is, what was it? You keep your,
Something with the backstabbing and the friend and the, I don't
I
know.
know, well, we're on brain rot at the moment. It's
Yeah.
9:30 at the moment,
Yeah.
and
We got to finish this up. Let's just watch
keep your
this clip
friends
real
close,
quick.
but your enemies closer.
Yeah, that's right.
Cheryl, my cousin Anthony Shriver, my daughter Kik, my other daughter Kira, Catalina Shriver, Joey Shriver, Jackson Hines, and Amaryllis Kennedy. Oh, and I want to thank all of you for your support and throughout this whole 2.5 year journey. I, my first time in this Oval Office was in 1961, and I came here to meet or 1962. I came here and I had a meeting with my uncle, who was president then, where we talked about the environment. He was involved deeply, as we all know, in restoring physical fitness in this country. He challenged at one point during his administration, he challenged Americans to do a 50-mile walk, which I ultimately did. But I remember the day that my father completed his walk. We were staying up at Camp David. And my father came in after 18 hours walking on the CNO towpath.
Skip here.
I'm so
He
grateful
says a lot of stuff.
to you, Mr. President. Word in every account and gone way beyond it. I'm so grateful. Of last year, God sent me President Trump, and he gave me. He's now given me, he's kept every promise that he's made to me. He's kept his word in every account and gone way beyond it. I'm so grateful to you, Mr. President. A lot of people told me that I couldn't trust President Trump, that I better get it in writing. And we did a handshake, and everything that he told me he was going to do, he has done. And I'm so grateful to him, and I've told you before, I genuinely believe that you are a pivotal historical figure.
Wow.
They don't believe the same stuff, these two people. They wouldn't make the same policy decisions, obviously. Like, RFK is very left of Trump.
Yeah, but he's old school left of Trump.
Yeah, but I mean, that still means like healthcare, socialized healthcare, that sort of stuff, like traditional liberal policies. Stuff that a lot of really right wing people would say is communist.
But
Um,
him and Tulsi Gabbard, they
right.
both understand the importance of working with your opponent.
Exactly. Yes, exact. I mean, this is what we
That's
need
the
in the government.
that's the greatest part about,
Yeah,
with Trump's X-Men team that he has going on.
right.
I mean, even look,
Willing
say
to
what you
work
will,
with people with diverse ideas.
and
That's the
willing to
biggest
work
thing.
with people that you don't like, but
Right.
you understand that you need to put your differences aside for the greater good.
Yes, 100%. Exactly.
Like, okay,
Um,
I may not like what his thought process is and his interpretations for how we should handle, let's say, for example, the economy,
right.
but I need to give him my input
Yeah.
in order to ensure that my voice is being listened to.
Yeah. Well, and the
So
thing is, the thing that they're doing here is Trump and Kennedy said, okay, where do we have common ground? And they go, oh, we think that America's fat and unhealthy, and there's a big problem with the health crisis in America. Okay, I'm going to set you loose on this health crisis. I want you to go find every little bit of corruption. I want you to set things straight. I know you have a background in this. I know you're not going to shy away from these giant corporations. Um, Go break things up. Go tear things up because that's what we're doing elsewhere. We need you to be working on this. I don't want
well,
you to
another
deal with
thing,
anything else. I don't want you to get involved in any of the stuff that I'm doing with oil or whatever, the environment. Just focus on this. And I think that's a really powerful thing. Find where you have common ground and turn each other loose on those bits. Definitely a great way to go about things. And I have pretty high confidence in RFK's ability to make things better for America's health. I think
yeah.
he, just because he has a lot of experience in it and he's clearly a smart dude. Um, I think there's a lot that he can do, even though, like, personally, I don't agree with him on a lot of stuff. And it's just, the same
And
goes for Trump. I don't agree with everything Trump says.
no,
Um,
neither do I.
but
But
I
he
think they're
understands
both going to do fantastic things.
compromising.
So that's the biggest thing I had on politics. I don't like JD Vance does speech in in Europe. That was a thing. If you haven't watched that, go watch it because it's pretty interesting. He talks about free speech. Um, but other than that, I don't know if much else went on politics this week. So that's
Well, the
basically
only
all I've
thing
got.
Well, the only thing that I have to say in regards to that and all the hearings for,
They're so
Tulsi Gabbard,
ridiculous.
RFK Jr., and what's the new director of the FBI, Posh Patel, or I forgot his name.
Yeah, something like
Um,
that.
Trump, of course, at this point, after his first 4 years in office, and when he made another run again in 2020 and lost, I think that was probably a realization for him that he needs to step up his game and figure out, okay, how can I, reach out to like some of the, to a crowd that absolutely despises me,
Yeah,
but understands the importance of willing to work together. Let me reach out to the people that the Democratic Party and some other party members have completely just wiped the floor with them, like, uh ostracize them,
mm-hmm.
like Tulsi and RFK Jr. He thinks, okay, well, I don't have all the time in the world to manage each division and say, hey, you need to do this and you need to do it my way for the better. I think it's great that he's uh how would you say it, creating a unique portfolio,
Mm-hmm.
or not a portfolio, a well, like you said, he's giving them the freedom to do whatever they want, and he just because he has bigger fish to fry, he doesn't have time to manage that. So
Yeah.
I,
Set him
I
loose on one thing that you agree on.
just and that's the only thing that I want you to do for the next 4 years, and
Yeah.
that's it. You let me do what I want for the next 4 years, and I'll let you do what you want for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
And we can agree to disagree, but this is, like you said, the one thing that we have in common, and I think that's a great thing to have.
It's a
I
fantastic
really do.
strategy.
I think it's a good, like, example of how a government should be, how it should be ran.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Because in my lifetime, at least, I've never experienced anything like this on
No, it's
this
always been
scale.
us versus them.
It's always been like that, and this time around, it seems to me like, yeah, it's us versus them, but it's us versus them in terms of, okay, we need to stop fighting each other because we have a common enemy or a common, problem. And tell you what, I'll let you do this for now, and you let me do this for now, and we'll see how that works out for us in the long run.
Yeah.
And on paper, this seems to be a good strategy,
Yeah.
and I am all for it. I think it's a good I think it's an idea that needed to get implemented a long time ago,
Yeah. Well,
decades ago.
and you know, just thinking about like the political spectrum, you're going to have people that are wrong on both sides. You're going to have ideas that are wrong on both sides. You're only going to find the truth if you go back and forth and figure out what the truth is. So I think that the best way to go about government and finding the truth is to have a coalition like this where you work together with people that you disagree with and you try to find common ground and work on specific areas that need attention. So yeah, anything else to declare? Best play.
I declare I am done playing Black Ops 6 for the night because, truth be told, for the viewers who are watching, if you even are watching, probably not, but I did not do so well this time around. To be honest, there was a new event that came out for this game, and it just completely, I guess, in terms of the skill-based matchmaking, it just took a toll. It wasn't fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I had fun talking. I
It
did.
was a
I had
pleasure.
fun yapping.
Yep.
And I think in terms of the structure, if I'm going to be honest, I mean, we could give this another go if you would like, Logan, next time around. We can, where I try playing and talking at the same time. But I really do think, to some extent, having pre-recorded gameplay just makes it a lot more better and organized.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is going to be like a test run, I would say. I'm willing to try it again.
Yeah.
At least maybe one more time to see if I can, have for it to be a little bit more consistent.
Yeah.
But I think having the pre-recorded gameplay just made it a lot easier, and we were able to stay focused, and it just made it look a little bit more professional.
Mm-hmm.
This feels a little bit all over the place. I'm going to be honest on
Yeah.
my side of things. I'm not saying that applies to you or anything, but
Well, we'll see. I suppose we can have comments tell us what they think. If you
I
thought you
know.
didn't hear enough from Nelson this evening, then let us know in the comments. We'll make an adjustment. We're still trying things out, of course. Still having
Well,
audio issues, and
that last video seemed to work out decently, like
yes,
you
I
mentioned,
agree.
because
Yeah,
it got 30 views, and look, 30 views is
we've had
30
30
views.
views before, but yeah,
We've
it's been a
had,
while
but
since we achieved that number. So
well, we have a consistent viewership, I would say.
yeah,
We do,
yeah,
and I think that's
and we appreciate you all, of course.
yeah, I think that's good that we do get that type of viewership, and hopefully, I mean, with this type of video format, I really hope that it starts to take off because I mentioned to you earlier, Logan, that I was looking at some of the first recordings that we had for the podcast, and it looked on my side of things, it was just rough. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
It was rough.
Yeah, we're still
But now at
iterating,
least,
trying to figure things out.
well, I think as time progresses, it will get better over time. Like, yeah, you could make the argument that, Well, Nelson, you need to get a better webcam.
Mhm.
Probably. I probably should get a better webcam. And I
Things will
probably
be
should
easier probably when we have money.
well, yeah, new microphone, of course, new headset,
Yeah.
probably. That
Well,
might
and I
help.
gotta figure out my audio issues again. I don't know what's going on there.
Well, we had a pause in the middle of the recording
Yeah.
because of that, but I mean, we picked up where we left off. You're probably just gonna edit and snip that out,
Yeah.
and yeah. But anyways, I am done yapping for
Yep.
the night.
I'm done yapping.
So
Mm-hmm. We thank you for joining us for this podcast. We hope you enjoyed the format. Let us know in the comments below if you have a preference for no gameplay, recorded gameplay, or live gameplay. We would like to know. Um, Obviously, it's a lot of pressure on Nelson, but it seems like he's willing to go either way. So we'll see what we end up doing.
yeah, if I have time, I might play a little bit more Black Ops, or I'll probably maybe dive. And I can diversify in terms of the gameplays. If you want, I could do pre-recorded gameplays. I think the pre-recorded gameplays are actually better because I can switch to different games on the fly.
Mhm.
So I could go from Black Ops, I could go to Stalker 2, I could go to Fortnite, I could
Yeah.
do all that type of stuff. I have a bunch of Fortnite wins from like December, and I'm almost certain that I could just use those as pre-recorded gameplays just fine because Fortnite has their own theater mode. So at least I think last time remember
Yeah.
they did have one. I don't know if they still have it, but I would have to check and see.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
again, we thank you for watching. Again, this is Logan and my co-host.
this is Nelson. Thank you for listening.
Thank
We
you.
will see you next time.
Bye-bye.